Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are boys from Homeroom Iris who like to present on how to form a strong inductive argument. You can refer to textbook page 83. Here. To form a strong inductive argument, it depends on the true premises and conclusion. For your information, the premises are the evidence or support to the conclusion made. Okay, this means like you need to have the premises first before you making a conclusion. Okay, we move to the. There are three steps. There are three simple steps that you can follow to carry out inductive reasoning. First one, you have to observe some examples or specific situations. Second, observe the common features. And lastly, make a general conclusion. Okay, we move to the first example. Form a strong inductive conclusion for each of the following number sequences. Okay, as we can see, the sequences of this question is decreasing. Decreasing. I mean, the first number is 1 over 1 becomes 1 over 2, and then 1 over 3, and 1 over 4. And as you can see also, the number, the value above, the old value has changed into a new value, which is 1 the power of negative 1, 2 the power of negative 1, 3 the power of negative 1, and 4 the power of negative 1. Uh, the second step is you try to find the similarities between these four values, which is the power of 1. So you write down the power of 1 first. And what should you write for 1, 2, 3, 4? For 1, 2, 3, 4, you write as unknown or n. So this is the answer, and don't forget to write the value of n, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, this is the final answer. So we can proceed to the second example. Okay, as you can see, the sequences for this question is the number is decreasing from the first number to the second one. Okay, so the value above has changed into a new value, which is 0.5 the power of 1, 0.5 the power of 2, 0.5 the power of 3, and 0.5 the power of 4. So dot value, we don't need it anymore, so we can just cross it. So the second step is, which is I told you at the previous example, we write down the first we write down the similarities, which is 0.5. And what should we write for 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4 we should write as n. And then forget to include the values of n, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, we move on to the next example. Okay, first we observe the question first. Okay, we need to you need to know what is the similarities and the differences. Okay, we look to the number of 2. They all are the same. So, you just write down number of 2 and plus 1. They all are same. So, you just write plus 1. And then, what is the difference? That is the number of 0, 1, 2, and 3. So, what do you need to do is you can you just put the number of 0, 1, 2, and 3 as n. So, 2 multiple to n plus 1 equal to n plus 1. And don't forget to write the value of n, which is n equal to 1, 0, I'm sorry,
Zero.
1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, we move on to the next example. Okay, first, observe the question. Find the similarities and the difference. Okay, first, we look the number of 3. They all are the same. So, you just write down the number of 3 and also the number of minus 3. They all are same. So, you just write down the number. And then, look the number of 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, and 4 square. They all are different. So, what do you need to do is you just put number of 1, 2, 3, and 4 as n. And don't forget to write down the square. That is n square. So, 3 n square minus 3. And don't forget to write down the value of n, which is n equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, we move on to the next example. That is example 5. Okay, this is the harder one. You need to observe it. First of all, find what is the similarities and the difference. Okay, we look to the number of 3. They all are the same. So you can just write down the number of 3. And also the power of negative 1. They all are the same. And what is the difference? Number of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what do you need to do is you can just put the number of 1, 2, 3, and 4 as n. So 3n the power of negative 1. And don't forget to write down the value of n, which is n equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on.
Okay, let's move on to the next example. Okay, uh, as we can see here, the example 6, the new value is in the form of fraction. So as Ayman and Danish said earlier, just ignore the old value. Just focus on the new value given. So first we find the similarities. That is 5. Then write it down. And then as you can see the differences is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Write them down in the form of n. And lastly, don't forget to write down n's value, that is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, let us move to the next example. Okay, as you can see, this new example is a bit harder because there are two differences. So, as the usual, write down the common features, that is 2. And then, as you can see, the first differences is powered by 3. So, just write down n powered by 3. And then write down the second differences, that is plus n. As usual, don't forget to state n's value, that is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Let us move to the final example. Okay, so as the usual, just write down the similarities and ignore the old value. The similarities is of course 20 minus 4. And then as you can see there, the differences are the powers. That is 0, 1, 2, 3. Just write it down as n. And then, as usual, don't forget to write down the value of n. That is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, so that's all from us. Thank you for staying with us until the end of this video. We from Homeroom Iris Boys members hope that all of you understand what we just presented. Once again, thank you and have a nice day.